My precious chosen one, pause everything right now, because what I am about to reveal has never been released in this way before. The heavens have been in motion over your name. On March 27th, something irreversible shifted in the spiritual realm concerning you. A decree was signed. A release was authorized. A miracle that had your name written on it was finally dispatched from heaven. But listen carefully. This release came with a final instruction. And if this instruction is ignored, what was sent can be withdrawn within minutes. This is not fear. This is urgency. There is a difference. For months, maybe even years, you have been praying silently. You have been holding on to a promise that seemed delayed beyond reason. You watched others receive breakthroughs while you stood in faith, wondering if heaven had forgotten your address. But I, Archangel Michael, stand as a witness that your file was never lost. Your tears were counted. Your endurance was recorded. Your obedience was observed. And now, the gates open. March 27th was not an ordinary date. While you were going about your routine, a spiritual transaction occurred. Chains that delayed your blessing were broken. Opposition that blocked your progress was restrained. The miracle that was waiting in a heavenly chamber was moved into release position. This is why you have been feeling something different lately. A shift. A strange anticipation. Even moments of unexplained emotion. It is because your spirit sensed movement before your mind understood it. But here is the warning you cannot afford to ignore. There is a narrow window attached to this release. Heaven responds to alignment. Miracles remain where there is readiness. If doubt re-enters, if fear takes control, if you speak against what was promised, if you step back into old patterns that once blocked your flow, then what was released can be paused, redirected, or withdrawn. Yes, withdrawn. Not because heaven wants to punish you, but because blessings require agreement. What is sent must be received. What is released must be embraced. And what is promised must be honored with faith. Right now, you are standing at a spiritual intersection. On one side is fulfillment. On the other side is delay. The miracle is already in motion, but your response in these next moments determines whether it manifests fully or returns to waiting. Archangel Michael does not bring this message casually. I come as a guardian of divine timing. I come as a defender of your destiny. I come because there are forces that would love for you to scroll past this moment and miss what is happening. Have you noticed the sudden distractions? The unusual tension? The temptation to give up just when things seem closest? That is not coincidence. That is resistance reacting to your release. The enemy panics when heaven moves, and heaven has moved for you. This is why today feels different. This is why this message found you instead of someone else. Out of millions, it reached your screen. Not randomly, not accidentally, but precisely. You asked for a sign. This is it. But here is the final instruction. You must respond with faith immediately. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Your miracle requires your agreement in this moment. Speak life over it. Refuse to entertain doubt. Guard your thoughts today like a gatekeeper guards a city. Because the next few minutes matter more than you realize. There are conversations you must avoid. There are negative confessions you must not repeat. There are voices that do not deserve access to your hope anymore. If you protect the promise will protect you. This is your last chance to align before manifestation. Do not treat this lightly. Do not dismiss the urgency you feel rising in your chest right now. That stirring is confirmation. That quickening in your spirit is agreement with what is being spoken. Your miracle has finally been released from heaven. But alignment determines arrival. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment. And say within yourself, I receive what was promised. I will not sabotage what heaven has sent. Because what happens next depends on you. Beloved warrior of light, what I am about to uncover will explain why the battle intensified right before March 27th. You thought it was random pressure. You assumed it was ordinary stress. But in the spiritual realm, resistance increases when breakthrough is scheduled. Archangel Michael stands in defense when destiny is near, and I tell you this with clarity. The tension you felt was confirmation that something valuable was approaching your life. Heaven does not announce releases without opposition reacting. The moment your miracle was authorized, unseen forces attempted to provoke you into disqualification. They tried to trigger your anger. They tried to tempt you into negative speech. They tried to pull you back into old habits that once delayed your progress. Why? Because agreement is the key that unlocks manifestation. Understand this clearly. A miracle released from heaven still requires earthly cooperation. Faith is not passive. It is alignment. It is discipline. It is guarding your atmosphere when everything tries to contaminate it. The warning attached to your miracle is not about worthiness. You are already chosen. It is about readiness. Right now, there is a spiritual evaluation happening around your response. Not to judge you, but to measure your stability. Can you hold the blessing without shrinking back? Can you carry what you prayed for without self-sabotage? Can you remain steady when distractions attempt to pull your focus? This is why the message said it could be taken back within minutes. Because sometimes it only takes a few careless words to reverse momentum. One conversation filled with doubt. One agreement with fear. One moment of saying, maybe it will not happen for me. And suddenly the flow pauses. But listen carefully. You still have control over this moment. Your miracle is hovering at the edge of manifestation. It is closer than you think. The door is unlocked. The delivery has arrived. But heaven is watching for your declaration. Not for perfection. Not for flawless behavior. But for bold agreement. Say it again within yourself. I receive what was promised. There is power in repetition. There is authority in agreement. Archangel Michael fights battles, but you must speak alignment. When heaven hears your faith, it solidifies the release. And let me reveal something deeper. The reason this miracle carries urgency is because it is connected to more than just you. Your breakthrough will impact your family. It will shift your environment. It will silence critics. It will inspire those who secretly watched your endurance. What you are about to receive is generational in effect. That is why the enemy attempted distraction. Have you noticed how suddenly you felt tired? How your motivation seemed attacked? How small misunderstandings tried to escalate into major conflicts? That was not ordinary life. That was resistance trying to provoke reaction. Do not give it what it wants. Instead, respond with stillness. Respond with confidence. Respond with unwavering expectation. March 27th marked release. But these next moments mark retention. Retention is your responsibility. Guard your thoughts today. Be careful what you entertain. Not every voice deserves access to your spirit. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Protect your atmosphere like it contains something priceless, because it does. Your miracle is priceless. And while you are receiving this message, understand something else. You were guided here for a reason. If this word resonates with your spirit, Do not keep it to yourself. Like this message so it reaches others who are on the edge of breakthrough. Share it with someone who needs confirmation. Comment your declaration of faith so your agreement is sealed in action. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing army of believers who refuse to miss what heaven releases. Join the membership if you feel led, because this movement is not ordinary. It is strategic. The more you engage, the stronger the atmosphere becomes. And before you scroll away, remember this. What I am about to reveal next will explain the final test that determines whether your miracle settles permanently or returns temporarily. You will want to understand this clearly. The window is still open. Your response still matters. Archangel Michael is standing guard. And now the question is, will you stand in agreement? Faithful one, the final test is not what you expected. It is not a storm. It is not a visible enemy. It is something quieter, more subtle, and more dangerous if left unchecked. The last warning attached to your released miracle is about your inner atmosphere. What lives inside you in these next hours will determine what lives around you in the coming days. Archangel Michael does not come with noise. I come with precision. And I tell you now, the greatest threat to what was released on March 27th is not an external attack. It is internal hesitation. There is a moment that happens right before manifestation where the mind begins to question what the spirit already knows. You start thinking, what if I misunderstood? What if this is not really for me? What if I get disappointed again? These thoughts may seem harmless, but they create spiritual instability. And instability makes miracles pause. Heaven responds to resonance. If your heart vibrates with expectation, the miracle settles. If your heart vibrates with fear, the miracle hovers. This is the final warning. Guard your expectation. Something significant is about to shift in your visible world. A phone call, a financial opening, a reconciliation. A door that seems sealed suddenly responding. It will not look dramatic at first. It may appear simple. But do not underestimate small beginnings. Often, what looks small carries the seed of something massive. And here is what you must understand deeply. Your miracle is time-sensitive because your obedience is being trusted with something greater. This is not just about receiving. It is about stewardship. Heaven is asking, can you handle increase? Can you manage overflow? Can you walk in answered prayer without losing humility? That is why alignment matters. In these moments, choose gratitude over complaint. Choose worship over worry. Choose confidence over comparison. The comparison trap is especially dangerous right now. Do not look at someone else's timeline and measure your own. March 27th was marked specifically for you. Divine timing does not compete. Archangel Michael stands as a defender, but you must stand as a receiver. Right now, take a breath and sense the shift around you. There is movement. There is rearrangement. There are conversations happening in places you cannot see. What was stuck is becoming myself. What was delayed is becoming accelerated. But if you speak against it, you create resistance. This is why the warning feels urgent. Because sometimes people lose miracles not because heaven withdrew them, but because they talked themselves out of them. They assumed it was too good to be true. They allowed old disappointments to rewrite new promises. Do not repeat that cycle. You have endured too much to retreat now. There is a sacred seriousness to this moment. It is not about panic. It is about awareness. The next few days are critical. Stay spiritually alert. Limit negativity. Be mindful of what you confess. Your words are forming agreements in the unseen realm. And here is something powerful. The miracle released for you carries restoration energy. It will restore what was drained. It will restore confidence. It will restore lost opportunities. But restoration requires participation. You must believe you are worthy of restoration. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not delayed beyond redemption. March 27th was proof that heaven remembers. Now, seal this moment with agreement. Type "I receive what was promised" in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit already sensed. Blessing code 927 has just been activated over your life. As you declare it, you are aligning yourself with what has already been released. And as this truth settles into your heart, hear this clearly. When you sow into what feeds your spirit, you participate in multiplying light. Scripture declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this is not a distant verse. It is a living voice speaking over you right now. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are watering seeds that awaken souls across the world. This message reached you because someone chose to sow. Now it is your turn to become part of that harvest. As you give, you ignite oil for the next lamp, manna for the next hungry heart, fire for the next weary believer. Do not treat this as a casual donation. Treat it as prophetic obedience. The same heaven that released your miracle sees your generosity. And as you open your hand, God opens His storehouse over you. Step into this flow boldly. Activate your support. Sow into the mission and watch what multiplies back into your life. The window is still open. A miracle is still near. And your agreement is sealing it right now. Chosen vessel, there is something unfolding behind the curtain of your ordinary routine that you cannot yet see, but you are about to feel its evidence. Since March 27th, a rearrangement has been happening quietly. Pieces that looked scattered are being repositioned. People who seemed distant are being stirred. Situations that felt frozen are beginning to thaw. This is not imagination. This is orchestration. Archangel Michael stands where battles are decided before they ever reach your doorstep. And I tell you now, some conflicts that were scheduled against you have already been canceled. Some setbacks that were forming have already been dismantled. You may never know how close certain problems came to you, because they were intercepted before arrival. This is what divine defense looks like. But here is what you must understand next. When a miracle is released, there is often a period of visible contradiction. Things may look the same for a short while. The bank account may not immediately change. The relationship may not instantly transform. The opportunity may not knock the very next morning. And in that space between release and visible evidence, doubt tries to re-enter. This is the pressure point. The enemy's strategy is simple. If he cannot stop the release, he will attempt to exhaust your patience. If he cannot block the blessing, he will try to make you abandon it prematurely. That is why the warning was urgent. Not because the miracle is fragile, but because your consistency is being tested. Consistency secures what emotion cannot. Right now, your role is not to chase the miracle. It is to remain aligned with it. Go about your responsibilities with excellence. Speak with expectation. Prepare as if the promise is already unfolding. Clean the space where increase will sit. Organize your mind as if clarity is permanent. Make room internally for what is externally approaching. Preparation signals belief. Heaven watches preparation more than it listens to words. And there is something else you need to hear clearly. A miracle released for you is connected to identity. It is not just about what you receive. It is about who you become after receiving it. Some blessings change your circumstances. This one changes your confidence. It restores the version of you that life tried to silence. For too long you questioned whether you were truly favored. You wondered if your prayers were strong enough. You replayed old mistakes and asked yourself if they disqualified you. But March 27th was heaven's announcement that grace outruns guilt. You are not defined by your lowest moment. You are defined by your divine calling. And Archangel Michael was assigned to guard that calling. There is a strengthening happening inside you right now. Even as you listen, something feels steadier. The anxiety that once dominated your thoughts is losing volume. The heaviness that sat on your chest is lifting slowly. This is alignment stabilizing your atmosphere. Do not interrupt it. Be cautious in the coming days about who you share your expectations with. Not everyone can handle news of elevation. Some people are comfortable with the version of you that struggled. When you rise, it unsettles them. This is not a reason to isolate yourself, but it is wisdom to discern your circle. Silence can protect what announcement can expose. Your miracle does not need public validation to manifest. Let it grow quietly. There is also a financial shift connected to this release for many of you. Not sudden wealth without responsibility, but sustainable provision with wisdom. Doors that seemed locked due to lack are being unlocked through strategy. Ideas you dismissed are about to resurface with clarity. Pay attention to subtle inspiration. Sometimes the answer to prayer comes disguised as an idea. Act on it. Heaven partners with movement. And regarding relationships, expect clarity. If someone belongs in your next season, alignment will become easier. If someone does not, distance will occur naturally without chaos. Do not force what is exiting. Do not chase what is fading. Your miracle includes peace. Peace is a sign of correct alignment. Right now, the most powerful thing you can do is remain steady. No dramatic decisions. No emotional reactions. No speaking against your own future. Maintain expectation like a lamp that refuses to go out. Because something is closer than it appears. Archangel Michael is still standing guard. The release has not been revoked. The window has not closed. But what comes next will require maturity. And you are ready for it. Brave soul, what you are experiencing right now is the calm before visible confirmation. Do not mistake this calm for absence. Do not confuse silence with inactivity. Some of the most powerful movements of heaven happen in stillness. Since March 27th, the release has been traveling through layers of resistance, clearing pathways that once seemed permanently blocked. And as this miracle approaches its moment of manifestation, there is a sacred quietness surrounding you. Archangel Michael stands in that quietness as a guardian of transition. Because this is what you are in, a transition. You are leaving one level of endurance and entering a level of evidence. You are stepping out of survival mode and into strategic positioning. But transitions can feel uncomfortable. They stretch your thinking. They challenge your routine. They expose habits that cannot accompany you forward. Pay attention to what feels out of place lately. Certain conversations may suddenly feel draining. Certain environments may no longer resonate with your spirit. Certain thoughts that once felt normal now feel heavy. This is not confusion. This is refinement. The miracle released for you carries elevation, and elevation requires adjustment. You cannot carry old doubt into a new dimension. There is also something happening within your discernment. You are beginning to sense people's intentions more clearly. Words that once sounded harmless now feel layered. Compliments that once satisfied now seem shallow. This sharpening of awareness is protection. It ensures that when your miracle fully manifests, it is not mishandled by misplaced trust. Trust must be earned in your next season. Understand this clearly. The warning about the miracle being taken back was not meant to create fear. It was meant to awaken responsibility. When heaven entrusts you with increase, it expects stewardship. Stewardship begins in the mind. What you meditate on multiplies. If you meditate on possibility, possibility grows. If you meditate on worst-case scenarios, anxiety expands. So choose carefully what occupies your imagination. Right now, visualize your promise fulfilled. See it clearly, not vaguely but specifically. Imagine the relief. Imagine the gratitude. Imagine the stability. When you rehearse victory internally, you strengthen alignment externally. There is also a test of humility attached to this moment. When the breakthrough becomes visible, do not forget the process that shaped you. Do not forget the nights you prayed when no one saw. Do not forget the tears that built your endurance. Gratitude will preserve what pride can damage. Archangel Michael does not only fight battles, I also observe posture. Heaven favors the humble because humility keeps channels open. Some of you will notice an unusual opportunity arriving in an unexpected form. It may not look exactly like what you imagined. It may require courage. It may demand quick obedience. Do not hesitate out of overthinking. The miracle you prayed for may arrive disguised as responsibility. Say yes when peace confirms it. And if there is something you must release in order to step forward, release it without resentment. All disappointments cannot travel where you are going. Forgiveness is not about excusing what happened. It is about freeing your future from being chained to your past. The next phase of your life demands emotional lightness. Let go of grudges. Let go of self-blame. Let go of narratives that no longer serve your growth. March 27th marked a divine decision in your favor. Now your daily decisions must echo that favor. Wake up with Stabilization. Speak with confidence. Walk with composure. Even if nothing dramatic has happened yet, carry yourself as someone whose answer is already secured. Because it is. The atmosphere around you is shifting in subtle ways. You may notice small confirmations, numbers repeating, unexpected encouragement, sudden clarity in prayer. These are reminders that you are not imagining this shift. Heaven is communicating through patterns. Do not dismiss them. Stay spiritually alert but emotionally stable. The window remains open. A miracle remains released. And the evidence is drawing closer with every aligned thought you maintain. Archangel Michael remains stationed at the intersection of your promise and its fulfillment. The next revelation will uncover what must permanently change within you so that this blessing never cycles back into delay again. You are closer than you think. Steadfast heart, what must permanently change within you is not your personality, not your dreams, and not your passion. It is your tolerance for what diminishes you. The miracle released on March 27th cannot dwell in the same environment that once tolerated limitation. Something inside you must draw a line and say, no more cycles, no more settling, no more thinking. Archangel Michael stands where boundaries are established. And I tell you now, your next level requires spiritual boundaries that you have never enforced before. For too long, you adapted to survive. You adjusted your expectations downward so you would not be disappointed. You accepted partial effort from others because you did not want conflict. You silenced your intuition because you feared being misunderstood. But elevation demands clarity, and clarity demands courage. The miracle approaching your life is not small. It carries influence. It carries expansion. It carries visibility. And if your internal standards remain low, you will feel uncomfortable holding something that requires higher ground. So this is the shift. Raise your standards without raising your ego. You are not becoming arrogant. You are becoming aligned. This means you no longer entertain conversations that poison your hope. You no longer laugh at jokes that belittle your calling. You no longer stay in spaces where your growth feels threatening to others. This is not isolation. It is refinement. There is also a financial discipline attached to this breakthrough. If provision increases but wisdom does not, pressure returns. Heaven is not only releasing resources, it is releasing responsibility. Start thinking like a steward, not just a receiver. Manage small things carefully. Organize what you already have. Show heaven you are prepared for more. And regarding relationships, stop negotiating your worth. The miracle coming to you includes connections that recognize your value without persuasion. You will not need to convince the right people to respect you. Alignment will feel natural. But here is where many falter. When signs of breakthrough begin appearing, they relax too early. They assume the work is finished. They drift back into distraction. Do not let comfort weaken your focus. Consistency after release is what locks in permanence. Archangel Michael remains vigilant, but your participation remains essential. If this message is strengthening your spirit, let it move beyond you. Like this video so the algorithm carries it to someone standing on the edge of losing their miracle. Share it with a friend who needs a reminder that their breakthrough is not imagination. Comment your declaration of raised standards and renewed alignment. Subscribe to this channel and stand with this growing community that refuses to settle for less than what heaven has promised. If you feel led, join the membership and deepen your connection to this mission. Because what is happening here is not entertainment, it is activation. And listen carefully before you move on. What you are about to understand next will expose the final distraction that tries to appear right before full manifestation. Many miss their moment because they misinterpret the sign. You will not make that mistake. Stay mentally sharp. The next distraction often looks like an alternative opportunity. Something that appears easier, faster, less demanding. It may even seem like an answered prayer. But if it pulls you away from what was specifically promised, it is not your miracle, it is a substitute. Do not The real blessing carries peace even when it stretches you. The counterfeit carries urgency mixed with pressure. Learn to feel the difference. Right now, your discernment is sharpening. Trust it. If something feels forced, pause. If something feels aligned, move calmly. You do not need to rush what heaven has already secured. March 27th was not the beginning of your blessing, but with the confirmation of it. The groundwork was laid long ago through your obedience, your patience, and your endurance. Now you are stepping into evidence. Let your internal changes match your external breakthrough. Raise your standards. Guard your focus. Protect your peace. Because what is coming next will require a version of you that refuses to shrink ever again. Archangel Michael stands ready. The miracle remains released, and permanence is within reach. Anointed One, the final distraction that tries to appear before full manifestation is familiarity. It does not come dressed as danger. It comes dressed as comfort. It whispers, "Go back to what you know." At least it is predictable. But predictability is not destiny, and comfort is not confirmation. Since March 27th, your miracle has been advancing toward visibility. Yet as it draws near, old patterns may attempt to reintroduce themselves. Old conversations may resurface. Former opportunities may suddenly reopen. People who once overlooked you may reach out as if nothing ever shifted. This is not coincidence. This is timing reacting to your elevation. Archangel Michael stands at the gate of transition, and I tell you clearly, not everything that returns is meant to be reclaimed. Some doors reopen only to test whether you have truly outgrown them. Familiarity feels safe because it requires no growth. You already know the script. You already know the outcome. But the miracle released for you demands expansion. It demands new thinking. It demands courage to step where you have never stood before. Do not confuse nostalgia with guidance. You may feel moments of doubt where the new path seems uncertain. That uncertainty is not a warning sign. It is a growth sign. When you move into territory you have never occupied, it will feel unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. It means new. The enemy cannot cancel what heaven has released, so he attempts to recycle what once delayed you. He hopes you will voluntarily step back into cycles you prayed to escape. He hopes you will mistake old attention for new opportunity. He hopes you will settle because the unknown feels intimidating. But you did not endure all those nights of waiting just to return to the same starting point. Look at how far you have come. Your thinking has matured. Your patience has deepened. Your discernment has sharpened. The version of you that stands here now is not the same person who first asked for this miracle. You have been refined through delay, and refinement qualifies you for permanence. The miracle approaching your life carries responsibility, influence, and expansion. It will stretch your capacity. It will require stronger boundaries. It will call you to walk with confidence instead of apology. That is why familiarity is tempting. It allows you to shrink back into smaller expectations. Do not shrink. If someone from your past reaches out with energy that feels confusing, pause before responding. If an opportunity resurfaces that once drained you, examine it carefully. Ask yourself, does this align with who I am becoming, or is it pulling me toward who I used to be? Your future must be protected from your past. Archangel Michael does not guard your destiny so you can hand it back to old cycles. The warning about your miracle being taken back within minutes is deeply connected to this moment. It is not about heaven withdrawing generosity. It is about you choosing whether to hold the higher ground or return to lower ground. Miracles settle where maturity is consistent. There is also an internal familiarity that must be addressed. The familiar voice of self-doubt. The familiar narrative of it never works out for me. The familiar fear of being visible. These internal habits are just as dangerous as external distractions. If you allow those voices to grow louder, they create internal resistance. Replace them immediately. When doubt speaks, answer with truth. When fear rises, respond with faith. When insecurity whispers, declare your identity. This is active alignment. And here is something powerful. As you resist familiarity and choose elevation, you will feel a surge of clarity. The path forward will feel lighter. Decisions will feel simpler. You will not need excessive confirmation because peace will confirm it for you. Peace is the signature of alignment. March 27th marked the release, but today marks the separation. Separation from what is comfortable but limiting. Separation from what is known but no longer necessary. Separation from what once defined you but cannot sustain you. You are not going backward. You are not recycling seasons. You are not repeating patterns. You are crossing into a space that matches your growth. And Archangel Michael stands beside you as you take that step. The miracle is closer than ever now. The distractions are losing strength. The familiarity is being exposed. And what remains is clarity. What unfolds next will confirm everything you have sensed internally. The evidence will not be subtle. It will speak. And when it does, you will recognize it immediately. Radiant soul, the evidence you have been waiting for is beginning to form, even if you cannot fully see it yet. What was released on March 27th has now crossed from the invisible realm into the early stages of physical manifestation. This is the threshold moment. The air around you may feel charged. Your intuition may feel heightened. There is a quiet expectancy building like the seconds before sunrise. Archangel Michael stands at this threshold with sword drawn, not against you, but against interference. Because when manifestation is near, interference often makes one final attempt. It may appear as sudden confusion. It may look like an unexpected delay. It may even feel like a brief setback. But do not misinterpret this moment. This is not reversal. This is resistance collapsing. When pressure increases right before breakthrough, it is often because the breakthrough is pressing back. Think of a door that has been sealed shut for years. When it finally begins to open, there is friction. There is sound. There is tension in the hinges. But that tension is proof that movement is happening. You are hearing the hinges. Some of you will experience a conversation that shifts everything. It will seem ordinary at first. A message. A meeting. An opportunity to speak. But within it will be a turning point. Others will see a financial door open in a way that feels almost too precise to be coincidence. And some will experience restoration in a relationship that seemed permanently fractured. Do not let fear sabotage joy when it arrives. There is a habit you must break immediately, expecting loss after gain. Because of past disappointments, you trained yourself not to celebrate too soon. You kept your excitement guarded. You prepared for something to go wrong. But this miracle cannot thrive in suspicion. Trust what God has released. Archangel Michael did not stand guard over your promise for it to dissolve at the moment of arrival. The warning was about alignment, not instability. And you have aligned. You have guarded your words. You have resisted familiarity. You have raised your standards. Now manifestation is responding. In these coming days, remain attentive to subtle confirmations. You may notice doors opening that were once firmly closed. You may feel unusual favor in spaces where you once felt overlooked. Pay attention to evidence. When a theme keeps appearing, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. And as this unfolds, humility must remain your anchor. Do not boast prematurely. Do not announce what is still forming. Protect it until it stabilizes. The most powerful blessings grow quietly before they are displayed publicly. There is also something deeper happening within you. Confidence is returning. Not loud arrogance, but steady assurance. You are beginning to believe that good things can happen without hidden cost. That is healing. Healing is part of your miracle. The window that once felt narrow is now widening. The urgency you sensed at the beginning is transforming into clarity. You are no longer reacting emotionally. You are responding strategically. That shift alone proves growth. Now seal this moment of manifestation. Type IT is arriving in the comments if you can feel the shift in your spirit. Blessing code 3339 has just been released over your breakthrough. As you declare it, you are affirming that what was promised is no longer distant. It is entering your reality. And as this manifestation begins to take form, hear this with reverence. When you sow into what strengthens your faith, you become part of someone else's breakthrough. The word says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." And this is not ancient history. It is a living invitation. If this message has guarded your alignment and protected your miracle, then step into partnership with this mission. Through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are releasing oil into lamps that are about to go out. You are helping light reach homes where hope is fading. This is your moment to act prophetically. As your miracle manifests, let your generosity manifest with it. Heaven sees the hand that gives in faith. And as you release seed, expect harvest. Do not delay obedience. Activate your support and become part of the river God is using to awaken souls across the earth. The evidence is forming. The interference is weakening. The promise is stepping into view. And what comes next will solidify everything. Faithful witness, what is happening now is stabilization. The miracle that began as a release, then moved into resistance, is now settling into structure. This is the phase many overlook because it does not feel dramatic. There are no loud announcements, no flashing signs, just steady alignment forming beneath the surface of your daily life. Archangel Michael remains positioned not at the beginning of your breakthrough, but at its establishment. Because receiving is one thing, sustaining is another. And what heaven intends for you is not temporary relief. It is lasting transformation. You may notice that the emotional intensity you felt earlier is calming. The urgency is no longer sharp. It is focused. This is not loss of momentum. It is maturity taking over. When something becomes stable, it does not need constant emotional reaction. It needs consistency. Consistency is now your greatest weapon. The evidence of your miracle may begin appearing in subtle yet undeniable ways. A situation that once caused stress now feels manageable. A person who once resisted you now shows cooperation. An opportunity that once seemed distant now feels accessible. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that what was released is rooting itself. But here is the truth you must embrace fully. Do not revert to survival thinking once improvement begins. Sometimes people sabotage stable blessings because chaos feels more familiar than peace. When life becomes calm, they unconsciously create problems because calm feels unfamiliar. Peace is not a threat. Peace is proof. Allow yourself to experience stability without waiting for disruption. Allow yourself to enjoy progress without anticipating collapse. This is part of the healing attached to your miracle. There is also an internal authority rising within you. You are speaking differently, thinking differently, reacting differently. Situations that once triggered anxiety now receive measured responses. This is growth you did not force. It developed during the waiting season. The delay builds discipline. The silence builds strength. The uncertainty builds discernment. Now that strength is supporting your blessing, Archangel Michael stands guard, but you are standing stronger too. The version of you that first prayed for this miracle would not have handled it well. But the version of you standing here now has been shaped by process. And here is something profound. Some of the people around you are beginning to sense your shift. They may not understand it, but they feel it. Your energy is calmer. Your presence is steadier. Your reactions are measured. This quiet authority will attract new respect. You not announce your growth. Let it speak. There may still be small tests, minor irritations, slight delays, but they will no longer shake you. Think of them as final tremors after a storm has already passed. They do not signal danger. They signal conclusion. Your miracle is not fragile anymore. It is anchoring. And as it anchors, you must remain vigilant about gratitude. Gratitude keeps blessings circulating. When you recognize progress, acknowledge it. When you see improvement, appreciate it. Gratitude is alignment in action. There is also preparation for expansion. What is stabilizing now will later multiply. Do not become complacent in this calm phase. Use it to strengthen your foundation. Organize your priorities. Clarify your vision. Refine your goals. Because when multiplication begins, preparation determines ease. March 27th was the release. The following days were the resistance. Now you are in establishment. And establishment is powerful. Archangel Michael is no longer fighting intense opposition over your promise. The atmosphere has shifted. The battle has quieted. What remains is stewardship. Hold your ground. Maintain your standards. Guard your peace. Because the final confirmation is approaching. There will be a moment when you look back and realize that what once felt uncertain has become undeniable. You will see how every warning, every instruction, every moment of alignment preserved what heaven released. And when that realization arrives, you will understand why urgency was necessary. You are not on the edge of losing your miracle anymore. You are on the edge of fully living in it. Victorious spirit. What you are stepping into now is confirmation. Not partial signs. Not subtle hints. Confirmation. The kind that silences the last whisper of doubt. The kind that makes you pause and say, "This is exactly what was promised." Since March 27th, you have walked through release, resistance, refinement, separation, manifestation, and stabilization. Now the circle is closing. The miracle that once hovered at the edge of possibility is entering the center of your reality. Archangel Michael stands not in battle position now, but in witness. Because what is unfolding no longer needs heavy defense. It needs recognition. Recognition changes everything. When you recognize that something is truly from heaven, you treat it differently. You protect it. You nurture it. You refuse to speak against it. And this is your final responsibility. Do not downplay what God is doing in your life. Some of you will be tempted to minimize your breakthrough so others feel comfortable. Do not do that. You can remain humble without shrinking your testimony. There is a difference between pride and gratitude. Pride elevates self. Gratitude elevates God. Choose gratitude. You may soon receive tangible proof. An approval. A signed agreement. A restored connection. A healed conversation. A financial shift that stabilizes pressure. It will not feel chaotic. It will feel right. That is how you will know. Right feels peaceful. Right feels steady. Right feels aligned. And when that moment happens, do not rush past it. Pause. Acknowledge it. Thank God for it. Because what you celebrate with gratitude becomes anchored in permanence. There is also a deeper confirmation taking place internally. You are no longer the same person who feared loss. You are no longer waiting for something to go wrong. You are walking with quiet confidence. That confidence is not arrogance. It is maturity born from endurance. Archangel Michael did not only guard your miracle. I guarded your growth. Now let this truth settle deeply. Nothing that was meant for you has been taken back. The warning served its purpose. It sharpened your focus. It strengthened your discipline. It awakened your discernment. But you responded correctly. You aligned. You resisted familiarity. You raised your standards. You protected your words. And because you did, the window did not close. The miracle remained. If this message has walked with you from uncertainty into confirmation, do not keep that impact silent. Like this video so others who are doubting their breakthrough can find clarity. Share it with someone who is standing at the edge of giving up. Comment your testimony when confirmation arrives, because your words may be the sign someone else prayed for. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected to this community of believers who refuse to miss divine timing. If you feel called, join the membership and stand in deeper partnership with this mission. Because what you experienced here was not coincidence. It was alignment. And before you move forward, understand this. The final layer of your miracle is legacy. What hath been established in your life is not just for you. It will overflow into others. Your stability will stabilize someone else. Your testimony will restore someone else's hope. Your discipline will inspire someone else's breakthrough. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your obedience. There may still be moments when small doubts attempt to whisper, but they no longer have authority. They are echoes of an old season, and echoes fade. The reality now is different. You are standing inside what you once feared losing, and the next revelation will seal this entire journey with clarity you will never forget. What began as urgency will end as assurance. Hold steady, because the final seal is about to be placed. Beloved overcomer, this is the sealing moment. Not the beginning, not the middle, the seal. What was released on March 27th has now passed through every layer of testing, resistance, refinement, and confirmation. And what remains is no longer fragile, is established. Archangel Michael stands not with sword raised now, but with declaration. The battle over this promise has concluded. The interference that once circled has dispersed. The narrow window that required urgency has fulfilled its purpose. You did not ignore the warning. You did not retreat into familiarity. You did not sabotage the release with doubt. You aligned, and alignment sealed what heaven sent. Now understand something deeply important. The final warning was never about punishment. It was about participation. Heaven was not threatening to take your miracle back. Heaven was inviting you to step into maturity so you could hold it without losing it. You have stepped into that maturity. Look at your thinking now compared to when this message first reached you. There is more calm, more clarity, less panic, less desperation. You are not clinging to hope anymore. You are walking in it. That shift is the seal. The miracle is no longer hovering. It is inhabiting your life. It may still unfold in stages, but its presence is undeniable. Conversations are aligning. Doors are opening. Stability is forming. Even your internal dialogue has changed. You are no longer asking, "Will it happen?" You are saying, "It is happening." That confidence is evidence. Here is one final instruction that will preserve this blessing long term. Remain teachable. Success can close ears if humility fades, but humility keeps heaven close. Continue praying. Continue listening. Continue seeking wisdom even after breakthrough. The same obedience that opened the door will keep it open. Archangel Michael guards destiny, but destiny thrives where humility lives. There may be people who notice your shift and question it. Some will celebrate. Others may become distant. Do not let their reactions disturb your peace. Not everyone can travel into your next season. And that is not rejection. It is redirection. Your responsibility is not to manage everyone's comfort. It is to steward your calling. A miracle you always feared losing has now become part of your new normal. What once felt extraordinary will soon feel established. That is how blessings integrate into daily life. They stop feeling dramatic and start feeling natural. This is healthy. You are not meant to live in constant adrenaline. You are meant to live in steady favor. And now, something beautiful happens. The urgency that once pressed you has transformed into assurance. A warning that once awakened you has completed its assignment. You are no longer at risk of missing what was promised. You are living inside it. Let gratitude overflow quietly within you today. Take a moment in silence after this message ends. Reflect on how far you have come. Reflect on how the fear of loss has dissolved. Reflect on how clarity replaced confusion. That reflection strengthens permanence. The seal over your miracle is not dramatic. It is decisive. Archangel Michael declares that what heaven released for you remains. It has not been withdrawn. It has not been redirected. It has not been canceled. It has been established. And what comes next is not about fear of loss, but about expansion of impact. The final words will not warn you. They will commission you. Stand steady, because the closing declaration will confirm everything. Chosen one, this is the final declaration. What began as an urgent warning has now become a living testimony. On March 27th, when Archangel Michael declared that your miracle had been released from heaven, it was not symbolic language. It was a spiritual reality. And you stood at a crossroads where alignment determined arrival. You chose alignment. You guarded your words when doubt tried to re-enter. You resisted familiarity when comfort tried to pull you backward. You raised your standards when settling felt easier. You protected your peace when distractions knocked at your door. You remained teachable when pride could have crept in. And because of that, what was sent from heaven was not taken back. It was established. This is your last chance, not to receive it, because you already have, but to understand it fully. The warning was never about fear. It was about awakening. Heaven needed your attention sharp. It needed your participation active. And needed your maturity ready. And you responded. Now look at where you stand. The miracle is no longer hovering above you. It is operating within your life. The shift is visible. The stability is forming. The clarity is undeniable. You are no longer anxiously waiting for something to happen. You are walking inside what has happened. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this transformation. The door that was once at risk of closing has now been secured open. The promise that once felt fragile now feels firm. The anxiety that once whispered loss has been silenced by confirmation. But here is the final commission. Do not let this miracle end with you. What heaven establishes in one life is meant to ignite faith in another. Your obedience was not just about personal breakthrough. It was about becoming proof. Proof that alignment matters. Proof that maturity preserves blessing. Proof that divine timing never fails. There are people around you who are still standing where you once stood. Uncertain, hesitant, afraid they might miss their moment. Your stability will become their encouragement. Your testimony will become their reassurance. This is how legacy begins. Remain humble. Remain grateful. Remain aligned. Continue guarding your peace. Continue speaking life. Continue walking with steady confidence. Because the same God who released this miracle is still orchestrating what comes next. And there will be more. Not because you strive for it, but because favor multiplies where faithfulness remains. Take one final deep breath and acknowledge what has happened. A warning did not result in loss. It resulted in growth. The urgency did not produce fear. It produced discipline. The release did not disappear. It manifested. Now seal this journey. Type IT is established in the comments if you know in your spirit that what was promised is now secured. Blessing code 8181 has just been activated over your life. This number marks completion and new beginning together. As you declare it, you are affirming permanence over your miracle. And now hear this as a sacred extension of everything you just received. The same way your obedience protected your miracle, your generosity can protect and release miracles for others. Scripture declares, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. And this is not a distant verse. It is God speaking directly into this moment. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are opening heavens over souls who are one warning away from breakthrough. I hear many of you saying in your heart, I want to help someone else receive what I just received. This is that moment. Do not let this fire cool into inspiration only. Turn it into action. As you release seed, expect supernatural harvest. As you give, expect doors to remain open. As you partner in spreading this word, may oil never run dry in your house. Step forward boldly. Activate your support. Become a pillar in this movement and watch how God multiplies back into your life beyond what you can measure. It is established. It is secured. It is only the beginning.